Hey, I think I have it on the air. I have never actually started one of these before. So this is my get to know your panelist video. I'm not, you know, I decided to play it, kind of not overly preparing. So that should be fun. So I guess I'll go right into the questions. You guys watch Courtney's, you guys watch Jen's, so you kind of know the idea. People want to know a little more about us. If any of you guys followed some of our previous show off the post, some of us did it. So it's a nice update, and there are a lot more questions on here than there were on that. So that's exciting. So I'll kind of dig right into it. The first question that I had is just an awful way for me to start out. And that's what's your favorite team? So if you're kind of new or don't know me, I was the resident FC Kansas City fan. I might live in Iowa, but I would drive down to every game. And since I moved to Iowa in 2014, there was one game I missed, and it was the last season, of course. But that was my heart and soul, as a member of the Blue Crew. So I don't have a favorite team, basically, is what I'm saying anymore. For me, I haven't been able to kind of go into that. All right, well, let me support this team just because so much my identity was kind of wrapped around FCKC. I will say that I am a member of Chicago Local 134 because I wanted to support some of my best friends. We kind of grew very close during the time, so I guess that would be it. But it's not like I'm like, yay, go Chicago! So yeah, it's not a great answer. Going along with that, if you know me at all, you should know the answer to this next question, and that's who is your favorite player? I am a Becky Sauerbrunn stan, as they would say. I don't know what it is about Becky. I remember watching the national team 2013 and being like, oh, this is it. She's my person. So I've been very lucky during my time, with FCKC to really get to know Becky. Of course, my cat is now making sounds, and I really feel like Becky would appreciate that my cat is acting up. That's kind of perfect. But yes, so Becky, she will always probably be my favorite player long after, well, she's never retiring, but, long in the future, I'll always look back and she is it. The next question is, do I watch sports outside of WOSO? And the answer is yes. I watch soccer in general, so I do watch MLS. Despite some anger for a while, I am a big Sporting KC fan. Those are my boys. And then I also support my local USL 2 team, the Des Moines Menace. I was at a game last night, and that is why there's so many bags, because it was an Open Cup game, went into extra and PKs. But outside of soccer, yeah, I watch sports just in general. I don't know if I'd say I have a favorite sport. If it's on, I'll kind of watch it. There's not much I won't watch. If I were to choose a favorite, I don't know if I can, because probably the favorite to watch is the most problematic, and that's football. So yeah, I guess anything where Iowa State is playing, because that's my college team. So there you go. The next question is right up my alley, and that is my favorite Marvel and my favorite DC character. So I will preface with, I am a huge Marvel person. You'll find out Karen is a DC gal. I'm a Marvel girl. But to start off with DC, I guess I'll go with Wonder Woman. I mean, yes, it's kind of a cliche answer, but just remember seeing, Linda Carter, in reruns growing up. And then the movie was phenomenal. And I cried because I realized that I hadn't seen people like me in that role yet. And I really think that it helped pave the way then for my favorite Marvel character, and that is Captain Marvel. So it's perfect. For a couple years ago, when I'd say that, people would be like, okay, who is she? So I've been reading, I got into it after Kelly Sue's run, and that's really where the movie adaptation comes from. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but somebody gave me, one of Kelly Sue's runs, and I was like, oh, this is it. I understand comic books now. I went, I didn't get it growing up. I guess I didn't really have access to it. And I read this, and even, trying as an adult, it's like, I don't get it. Am I supposed to look at the pictures? Am I supposed to look at the text? And then I read it and it all fell into place. So I will say, for somebody whose favorite character has been Carol Danvers for 5 years, this has been a great year for me. So she's the movie's kind of a stand-in for my personality, because it's all Captain Marvel all the time for me right now. The next question is sitcom. If you had a sitcom based on your life, what would it be called? And that's just really hard. And I'm gonna just do what I do and deflect with humor. And I guess I would say walking disaster, because I feel like that's what I am at all times, and it's what makes me me. So just kind of skip past that. Next question is Hogwarts House. So this has always been kind of confusing for me, because I've never had a consistent answer in any of the sorting tests I've done. I think that my last one was Ravenclaw, which I do think I have Ravenclaw elements. So I'm not disagreeing with that. I do think that there's a lot of Ravenclaw, but I think I'm a Hufflepuff. I do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know people like to laugh, but I think I'm a combination of the two. And if I had to be put in one, probably them, probably Hufflepuff. So kind of going along with that, I'm gonna reword this next one. So what's my Patronus? I'll reword it to that. And that's a hard one, because I think it changes all the time. But I guess just because I'm looking at my cat right now, I'll go with that, just because, sometimes I try to do a tough exterior, and I'm really tough and hard, and I don't want affection, but then I'm just a big softie who wants attention and love all the time. So I guess that would be it. Maybe specifically my cat. If you've seen her in the background, her name's BB-8. She's orange, which not a lot of orange cats, so that's special. She is a tripod, as they call them. She's missing a back leg, and she tries to be all tough, but she's soft, and I guess that's what I'm gonna go with. Next one is biggest accomplishment. And this is a hard one, because I am the type that I don't really like talking about stuff I do, which I get, everybody says that. You know, it's kind of a fun, today is the 10-year anniversary of my college graduation. So I am feeling as old as that sounds right now. I think that was a big one. Even 10 years later, not all of the sides of my family had the opportunities as much to go to a 4-year. So that was pretty special for me to be able to do that. Especially, I had some hardships at the end. So accomplishing that. Then I guess going along, I really am proud of the fact that I took a big risk out of college. I moved to New Jersey for 3 years on my own. I guess that's not your typical accomplishment, but for me, I think I'm really proud of it, that I went so far out of my comfort zone. Had 3 years out there. I really loved it. I know there's a lot of Sky Blue fans who are watching, and may live in New Jersey. It's actually a really beautiful state, and I really loved it, and I'm really proud that I did that. So I guess that would be it. And so along with the next question is, how and when did you get into WOSO? And there was always that 99, because I was 13, so that was pretty cool. I remember that, but I don't think I necessarily got into it. It really started, I think, a lot of us with 2011 with the World Cup. So because I was in New Jersey, it was different. In Iowa, we're not necessarily a soccer state. It's changing, but especially even 8 years ago, it wasn't. So I go out there, and it is a lot different. It was a soccer place. So I remember that final being on TV when I was at my retail job. And so that was exciting. And then throughout the next year, I was started learning more about it. People were in the news, not just Hope, but I remember Rapinoe started becoming, well known and a celebrity. So I became aware and made an effort to watch. And then it was the 2012 Olympics that really sold it. I watched all the games. I remember watching the Colombia game. I remember watching the France game, and then it was that U.S. Canada game. I took that day off work for not because of the game, for something else, but I took that day off so I was able to watch the whole game. And it went from, hey, I think I like the sport to, oh no, I'm obsessed. So it was a year journey, got me there, and haven't looked back. I think with a lot of, fandom, you kind of go in and out a little bit, but it's probably been my longest lasting fandom, I would say. So yeah, 2011 to 2012 would be it. The next question, I didn't mean for it to question. I totally am the one who asked that. And it's, why are you the way you are? And I was just trying to be funny on Twitter. And here I am having to answer that. So, I used an office GIF. I guess if I were to give it a serious answer, I'd say that it is a lot of life experience that caused me who I am. Didn't necessarily always have the easiest life, but I learned. And so I guess that's why I am the way I am. And I'm sorry for all of you that have to deal with it. Next question is best advice you've ever received. So this is such a hard one to answer, but I'm kind of thinking back to this weekend. I was down visiting some friends in Texas, and I went to a convention, Comic-Con. And I was at a panel with Danielle and Carlos from The Flash, and just listening. And somebody asked them this, and I think that their two answers being different makes up one good advice. So Danielle, Hannah Baker, is, she's just a sweetheart, and hers, she automatically did the don't give up. This is more career advice, but I'm going to take it as life. She's like, don't give up, keep trying. But then Carlos was like, yeah, but know when to give up, and not necessarily like that give up on your dreams, but maybe this specific path isn't the path to take to get to your ultimate goal. So instead of, going on A and deciding A is the only path to get to where I need to be like, hey, I think A's roadblock might not be able to get me there. So let's explore option B or C. And maybe one of these paths can help get me to where I want to be. So I think that was I don't think they meant it to be like that. I think it was two different personalities giving two different answers. I think together it really did make good advice. Don't give up, but know when to change course, I guess it would be. So I was going to look this up, and I'm going to skip it. Who's your favorite international player who hasn't been in the league? And I am blanking on some people. And so that's why I was going to just double check myself. But I would like to see a lot of my Arsenal ladies. And I get that that's not as possible because there's more of an overlap. Well, yeah, there's more of an overlap, I guess, with the beginning of the season and stuff like that. But I'd like to see some of them because, I love my Arsenal ladies as well. So I'm going to just do a team. Some of them have played for the league, I know, so that's a cop-out. But I'm going to stick with that. So I need to check as I'm talking, but I think this answer, I had guilty pleasure, and I think it's guilty pleasure TV show. Yes, it is. What's my guilty pleasure TV show? And I don't know if I have one because I just quit caring. Meaning, I like what I like. I guess I will go with, I like a lot of the DC shows, maybe stuff that's not aimed necessarily. No, they are. I guess the DC shows. But then, excuse me. I think I also like some of the Marvel shows that are aimed at kids, mainly, like Cloak and Dagger and Runaways, which I think they're definitely going after a different market, and I am a grown-ass woman, but I really enjoy those. So I guess that would be it, stuff that may be aimed at, a demographic younger than me. But I still don't think of it as guilty pleasure because I like what I like. That's the best thing about getting older is that you just quit caring about, oh my God, are people going to judge me because I like this? And I was like, I don't care. I'm a woman. I'll do what I want. Um, so my favorite genre of music is the next one. And I, again, don't want to do a cop out, but I really don't have one because I like almost everything. And I'm not going to caveat, well, except for this, except for that. I think that you can find some amazing stuff in every single genre. Um, so that's a cop out, but I realized. But then my favorite artist, and I'm going to go two, and it's kind of two different genres, so it works. Probably my, number one ultimate artist is Brandi Carlile. I've had the pleasure of being able to watch her perform a couple times. The first time was well before she was what she is now. I don't think anyone ever dreamed of the Grammys back then. It was at a city auditorium. And so being able to watch her career grow and watching the success she has been really neat. And I'm so happy for her. I've kind of always said that if I was forced to go on a desert island with only one artist discography, who would it be? And it would be hers, because you can find anything. You can get sad, you can be happy. She has some rock elements. She has straight up country elements. I wouldn't classify her straight up country. It's Americana, which is different. But, it's just all those different genres in one just amazing voice. I love her so much. And I think my second one kind of has a similar story, and that's going to be Hailstorm. I first saw them it was more than 10 years ago at a festival in college. And this was right before I Get Off came out. And I was like, yep, this is my band. So I got to watch, 5-6 times at least. And I think that they have way more mainstream success now. So I've been able to watch them grow as well. So those are my two favorite artists. And I'm flying through these. My next one, if I had to play soccer, which I do not have a body for soccer, I do not play sports. I am not an athlete. But if I were to play soccer, what position? And I think I would do defender, assuming that I had a little more athletic ability in this fictional scenario. Maybe that's the result of being a Becky Sauerbrunn fangirl for so long. But I think it's a very important position. I think if your defense isn't tight, your offense can score as many goals as they can. But if we're letting in just as many, it doesn't matter. So it would be a defender. Let's go with center back, just because I want to be like Becky. We're like the same age, but she's my hero. So I'll go with that. And I'm going to get laughed at with this next one. But if I had to do an ultimate 5-side team, I think of an NWSL, who would I choose? And I stand by this. I will not apologize. I think I'll go Barney, Becky, Jen Bezkowski, Lauren Holiday, and A-Rod. If I could throw more FCKC players in there, I would. But I think that those 5 players, were big cornerstones in, those 2 championship teams that were so good, so fun to watch. And I wish that, I think someone's watching now. Hey, David. And I think that, I look back at that and realize how special it was when we got to watch those 5 play together, along with the rest of the players. But I think those 5 were so special together. So I flew through a good half a page of questions very fast, but hopefully you got to know a little more about me. If you have any questions, I share way too much information online. Feel free to follow me, like the 309. That's a Johnny Cash reference. That's another one I could have put under my musical artist. You'll probably find me most on there. I still Facebook because I can't get off of it, but I refuse to join any NWSL groups. So you probably won't find me there. So Twitter, like the 309. So thank you for watching. If you have, like I said, hit me up with questions. And I think Karen is probably next at some point, so watch out for hers in the next couple days. Bye, guys.